I am going to start with the news of the day, of course, and these massive demonstrations that we're seeing and protests across the country against police brutality and systemic racism. I don't remember the last time I've seen anything on this scale about this issue. Greg Bowens, what are we seeing, and what is the opportunity that this inspires real change, that it actually leads to things being different?
Well, I think what we're seeing is a wake-up call in a way that we hadn't seen before. And part of it, I believe, has been induced or exacerbated by the lockdown during the coronavirus. For the first time, we saw a Black man getting killed by police, and there weren't the usual distractions that were out there that people had to contend with. You know, people weren't rushing to drop their kids off to school. They weren't rushing to get to a meeting. They didn't have all of these other things that tend to divide our attention. And the shock of having to watch that video and look at the smirk on that cop's face while the life was drained out of that brother on the ground was, I think, overwhelming. There was just no way to escape it in the ways that people normally are able to escape it. And since they were on lockdown, I think that this allowed for them to be able to focus more than we'd ever seen before.
Karen, does this mean we are going to get past these issues? I mean, when I think about Eric Garner and when that happened, Trayvon Martin, these were all before Colin Kaepernick started kneeling in his uniform before football games, and nothing changed when those people were killed. Nothing changed when Colin Kaepernick started kneeling. What's different this time?
Well, I pinned a piece of news saying how this appeared different, it felt different, but I don't want to dismiss the contributions or the support of anybody participating or wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt or with a sign, but we've got to move past symbolic gestures and start looking at the contributing factors to systemic racism. You can't wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt afraid of speaking to a Black person that you encounter them on the street. So to me, this is a good first start, but just because they're marching with you doesn't mean they're marching for you, because we've got to allow the peeling back of a very aged scab that will reveal some very painful things about the very people that are marching. You know, there was an interview for one of the protesters on one of the local stations, and she was being asked, what this meant to her. She couldn't tell you what it meant. So like, Greg talked about not having the distraction of other things because of the quarantine and the lockdown. A lot of people are participating because they want to make a change. But you have a section of people that are just out because they're in lockdown. They want to feel a part of something. But until we really have candid discussions, until we look in the mirror, and until white people look in the mirror and look at their colleagues and say, this is what you cannot do, this is who you are, and this is your contribution to a generational problem, then no, nothing will change. I saw the PBS special on the Black Panthers the other night, and the same thing happened then. You had all these white college students that were out protesting. So we've got to get past just the movement and start building momentum toward legitimate change.
Yeah. Brandon, what do you think we're seeing, and are we going to see change?
It's interesting. I think the challenge, and I got to agree with Karen, is that we've got to make sure that in this movement, this is not just a fad. And I think, unfortunately, it's become the cool thing to do to protest when I think Black America has some very systematic issues that, quite frankly, I don't know if a protest will change. And so, I just read Netflix is now, as a way to counter, is giving $150 million towards Black education. So now the challenge is, okay, well, that's a good thing that corporations are starting to look at the riots and the protests and to do something about it. But now the question is, well, how is that money going to be allocated? What specific programs are going to be utilized? So what are the minutiae of how do we use that financial investment to enhance our communities? And that's still a big question. But then the other thing, when we look at the protests and riots, I think it's a systematic issue of something much deeper in our society, really looking at the failed policies that have come out of our inner cities. Really looking at poverty. I think COVID, I mean, people can try to get away from it or not. COVID has unleashed so many issues from our public health system, all the way down to policing issues, all the way down to the haves and the have-nots, where now things are starting to come to the format of what are the real ills of society. The protest is just a symptom.
Kerry, you consider yourself a conservative. We've seen a lot of conservatives have odd reactions to this, especially the one in the White House, although a lot of conservatives would say he's not a conservative. But I'm curious, from your standpoint, is there something you're seeing now that's surprising? Is there something now that seems different than what we've seen before?
There's definitely something that I see now that is surprising. There's no way a month ago you could have told me that the protests would reach around the world and that you would have hundreds of thousands of people coming out. And I got to tell y'all, I don't think that they're coming out simply because they were all on lockdown because of COVID-19. They've all seen, the generation that's younger than us, they've seen something that they're tired of. We have asked for years for the good white people to be our allies and to try and somehow overcome the problems that we've had to fight all of these years. I think we've got a lot of white allies who are on our side, who are also, they're not just here in Detroit or in Minneapolis and Seattle, but they're all over the world, and they are sick and tired of what they're seeing. To answer the question you asked earlier, is there going to be change? There's definitely going to be change.